Hello, everyone. This week is the start of the 2017 NFL football season. Did you know that the San Diego Chargers are now the Los Angeles Chargers? Or do you know that in the year 2020, the Oakland Raiders will become the Las Vegas Raiders? Now, the new home of the Atlanta Falcons is the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. That stadium cost over $1 billion to build. It's just crazy. Well, today, what we're going to do is we're going to create a map of all 32 NFL teams. Now, don't worry. I'm going to show you everything that you need for the video in the video, so pay close attention. Your assignment reads in Google Classroom, create a map of the current location of all 32 NFL teams, then make lines to divide the U.S. time zones. I'm going to open up the assignment. Here are all the things that I need, but there's one thing that I need to start with, and that's creating a map. And I'm going to create my map in Google Drive. So I gave you the link to Google Drive. I'm going to click it. It opens up my Google Drive, and I'm going to go to Google Drive. In Google Drive, we are able to create a map of about anything. So if you wanted to pin your vacations, if you wanted to pin where your family lives, you can do all of that by going to New, sliding down to More, and choosing Google My Maps. Once you select Google My Maps, it opens up a map of the United States. And what you can do is you can pin almost anything. There are tools up here at the top, undo and redo. We can move the map around by selecting items. We can pin and add markers. We can draw a line. We can even get directions and know the distance between two cities. A lot of things that we can do. To make it easy on you, I created a document that has all of the 32 NFL teams, plus the location or the address where they play. And what you're going to do is you're going to import that right now. I'm going to click on the import button. What I want to do is I want to go to Google Drive whenever I import. I'm going to go to Recent because I just shared it with you today. Under Recent, you're going to see Files, and it's going to have your name on it. But if you put your mouse on it, it'll say the NFL team's addresses. That's what I want you to open up. It's going to open up, and it's going to ask you two questions. Select the columns from where your files that tells us where to put the place markers on the map. That's the location. Pick the column to use as the title for the place markers. That's going to be the team. I'm going to finish this up, and you'll see what it's going to look like. It's going to take that information and pin a spot where all of those teams play. Now you have to remember there are two teams in Los Angeles, the Rams and the Chargers now. Two teams close to San Francisco, the Raiders and the 49ers. I'm going to zoom back out here again. There are two teams in New York City as well, the Jets and the Giants. So even though you can't see both pins there, they are back-to-back. They play in the same stadium. I'm going to scroll back out here again. To make your map your own, you can see these are blue pins. What I can do is I can go over here to where it says All Items. Just putting my mouse on All Items, it turns gray and it gives me a paint bucket. This paint bucket allows me to change the color of each of the pins. So if I wanted yellow pins, I can make yellow pins. If I wanted brown pins, I can make brown pins. If I wanted to change the icon, those icons are down at the bottom. I'm going to go to More Icons. Well, what would be nice is the football. Okay, so I can choose the football, or if you want to have stars or hearts, it doesn't really matter, check marks. I'm going to choose the football, and I'm going to say okay. It changes all of my pins to footballs. Whenever I put my mouse on each pin, I can click it. I can see what team it is. This is the Denver Broncos. This is where they play. I can change each individual one if I placed each pin there myself. But since we uploaded them all, if I change the color of one pin, it's going to change the color of them all. Okay, so pick a nice color that you want for all of those pins, and it doesn't matter. The next part of this lesson is talking about time zones. All right, so if the Steelers are playing here in 1 o'clock, okay, it's not going to be 1 o'clock in Washington. Okay, so there are different time zones as you cross the United States. And I put the picture of a map of the time zones in your Google Classroom. So here's that map, and if I click on it, here are the dividing lines. Now, this is the central time zone, and you can see here is an example. It's 7:31 p.m. here. Okay, if it's 7:31 in Pittsburgh, in Kansas City, it's an hour behind. It's 6:31. This is the central time zone. Okay, if it's 6:31 in Kansas City, in Denver, it's an hour behind. It's 5:31. This is the mountain time zone. If it's 5:31 in Denver, in San Francisco, it's 4:31. So as you cross the United States, you go through different time zones. Arizona is very unique. They always are on standard time. They don't have daylight savings time like we have here in the Eastern time zone. They sometimes have the same time as the Mountain time zone, and sometimes they have the same time as the Pacific time zone. Now, very carefully, you can see that these lines are not straight as they go up, but our lines are going to be straight as we separate the sections in the United States. So I'm going to go back to my map, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a line. That's this one right here, draw a line. Whenever you draw your first line for the East and the Central time zone, we have to be careful. The Titans are on the Central time zone, okay? The Colts in Indianapolis are in the Central time zone, and the Chicago Bears, they're in the Central time zone. So very carefully, I need to make this line going down so that these areas are selected. So here's my line. To click, if I just want a line, I just need to click on the dot to select the line. It's going to ask me a name for it. I don't need to name it. I just need to know that this is the dividing line from the Eastern time zone to the Central time zone. I'm going to hit save. Close it. There it is. If I zoom in a little bit closer here, you can see Indianapolis is very close to that time zone change, but it is in the Central. I'm going to zoom back out again. The next line that I want to put in separates the Central time zone with the Mountain time zone. And again, I'm going to go to the Draw a Line button, add a line or shape. I'm going to go straight through the Texas Panhandle here, all the way up through North and South Dakota. This line is going to separate the Central time zone with the Mountain time zone. This middle right here is the Central time zone. Over here is the Mountain time zone. I need to draw another line. I'm going to go up to the Line tool, add a line or shape. Here we go. Right at the end of California here, I'm going to click and hold and drag up. This line now separates the Mountain time zone with the Pacific time zone. We have to remember that Arizona has its own special time zone rules, so I'm going to draw a line around it. So I'm going to click on the Line tool, add a line, click on the line, drag it around here, and click, and going down here, and click one more time to set it. This is Arizona, and this is the special time zone that we have here in the United States. I'm going to hit save. Let's take a look at our map. We have the Eastern time zone. Most of the NFL teams are on the Eastern time zone. We have the Central time zone, the Mountain time zone. This is the special area of the time zones that only Arizona is a part. And then we have the Pacific time zone here in the United States. So as teams go back and forth, they cross over these time zones. I don't know whether it affects the play of the teams or not. Maybe we can check that out this season. This is just a sample map that we created. I want to go over here to where it says Untitled Map, and I'm going to call it NFL Teams. I'm going to hit save. Now, since this isn't a part of Google Classroom, what I need to do is I need to go back to Google Classroom again, go back on my map, and I need to add my map so I can turn it in. I'm going to click on Add, and it's from Google Drive. It should be under Recent, my recent map under Google Drive. See if I can come up here. Nothing looks like it's coming up here. It should be under recent, and you're going to add that file and then turn it in. All right, let's try that again. I'm going to add a Google Drive link. Let's see if it works this time. It should come up under recent. I don't know why it's not coming up here on my computer. Always a glitch. That map should be here. You'd click it and add it to your Google Classroom account, and then you can turn it in. All right. I want to take a look at your map, see what they look like. You're making a map of all 32 NFL teams plus those lines for the time zones. Now, I know this is a lot. Hopefully, you will be able to get it done today. If you have any questions, I'll be around to help you out. Good luck.